सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज आपकी आवाज, विज्ञान की आवाज, की आवाज।
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine, supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Radioactive Community Radio, Bengaluru.
एक नई दुनिया की आवाज आपकी आवाज, विज्ञान की आवाज, की आवाज, की आवाज।
Latest information on STEM popularization.
India's NAV IC will now be supported by Made in India chipset. For the first time, the chipset or microchips which are capable of receiving and processing the signals of the indigenous navigational system, NAV IC, will be designed and manufactured in India by an Indian company. NAV IC is a satellite-based navigational system developed by Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, which enables users to determine their precise geographic location and track their movements anywhere in India and 1,500 kilometers beyond India's territorial border. Not all smartphones and navigational gadgets or navigators are compatible with NAV IC to use and decode NAV IC signals. A navigating gadget should have NAV IC compatible chipset or microchips incorporated inside it. The receivers of NAV IC signals, such as NAV IC compatible smartphones and other navigators, typically incorporate this chipset or microchips which are designed to be decode and process the signal coming from the 7 Indian satellites. Currently, they have been using chipset made by foreign companies such as Call Communication Technologies of USA and MediaTek Inc. of Taiwan. Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the two ministries of Government of India, are jointly collaborating with Hyderabad-based firm Manjera Digital Systems Private Limited to facilitate the designing and commercial production of these chips in India. The company has designed baseband processor chip that uses endogenously developed Universal Multifunctional Accelerator UMA processor IP, which has ability to receive, read and process NAV IC signals. This chipset will soon go into large-scale commercial production.
Now, our next segment is Analyst in STEM.
Hello everybody. Today we are with Dr. Sanjukta Roy, DST Scientist, Principal Investigator, WOSA, Raman Research Institute, Bangalore.
What would you say is the relevance and scope of research on physics in today's world?
I always believe that the technology, the new advanced technology always originates from basic research. So it always happens that the basic research which happened in the field after, a lot of development have given rise to new advanced technology. So I would always believe that we should always encourage basic research from which you can, get advancement of new technology like the quantum technology and other such technologies, so which always stems from fundamental research in basic physics.
Can you give us a brief on some of the achievements by the Raman Research Institute?
Raman Research Institute was founded by the great Nobel laureate C.V. Raman, And over the years, it has many achievements. For example, in the initial years, there had been quite pioneering experiments on liquid crystals. And also the very famous physicist Pancharatnam, who also was a part of the institute, who had discovered Pancharatnam phase. And so there are also theoretical physics department where there had been many important achievements in theoretical physics in this department. And then there is a department of astronomy and astrophysics. So there are also working in many very important international collaborations, and they're also making satellites which in collaboration with ISRO for doing experiments in space. And coming to the department in which I'm working in, Light and Matter Physics Group, so we are making a very important contribution to the development of quantum technology in the country. There are various directions of research like quantum computation, quantum sensing, and quantum communication, as well as quantum simulation, which is happening in our department. For example, we are cooling down atoms to very low temperature, about 10 millions of 10 million times colder than the room temperature, to actually build an array of qubits for building a network of fast quantum gates to build a quantum computer using cold atoms. So I think RRI is one of the very major player in this development of quantum technology in the country. So as I mentioned, we in RRI are doing research at the forefront in the field of quantum technology. So it's our idea is not to just catch up, but also innovate and as at par with the best labs in the world. And our government who have recently approved the quantum mission, so with a lot of funding. So I believe that it will be a huge boost for the development of quantum technology, not only in our institute but throughout the country. And we can with the huge potential, with the huge human resource potential in our country, we can do our innovation, and we can be at par with the best experiments and the best state of the art experiments around the world.
So when you talk about the Raman Research Institute, you mentioned your area is light and matter.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other areas that the institute does research in?
So the other areas in which the institute does research is in astronomy and astrophysics, where I said that they are doing very great work. They are working with many international collaborations where they are working with working on data from telescopes which are spread all around the world, and they are making very important advancement in the field. And also there is the soft condensed matter physics, where in the initial days the liquid crystal, there were many pioneering research on liquid crystals. And there are also theoretical physics where there are very important results which are one of the very important papers which are coming out of our country were from that department. And so there is in the theoretical physics department there are many several very interesting direction of research in which is going on. It's statistical physics, also quantum optics, and quantum gravity. And so there are many very interesting topics which are people are working on in RRI in the various departments. Also very interesting research in the soft condensed matter physics department is going on, and there are many interesting results which are coming out from the department. So I think overall there is a very good progress from our institute, and it's contributing very in a very important way in the development of science and technology in the country.
Now, you mentioned earlier about how physics is all around us, how everything, no matter what it is, there is a little bit of physics in it. So when we talk about technology and physics, since our country, the world, we're all heading into the era of technology, there's AI everywhere. So with respect to technology and physics, where do you see our country headed in the future?
So I envision that in a few years from now, we should have a rapid progress in the field of technology, especially quantum technology, which is my field of research, because there is a very strong network in India. I believe that where to do something big, we all have to come together and work together. And I find recently that all the researchers working in this field are really joining hands together, and the networking is increasing. I think and also as I had mentioned, the government is encouraging a lot, giving a lot of funding for the development in this field of quantum technology. So I think in a few years or a decade from now, we will have India will have a very prominent role to play in the development of quantum technology, not only in the country, but it should have a very important contribution also in among the leading places in the world.
So, ma'am, the research that is being conducted on physics, where do you hope to see it being applied in the next few decades with respect to our country and its progress?
So I can especially tell about the research which I am pursuing, because I know the direct applications for it. For example, I'm working with cold Rydberg atoms. So this is the Rydberg atoms are very exotic atoms which has very interesting properties, like it has very strong interatomic interaction, which makes it a very promising candidate for quantum entanglement, which gives rise to very fast quantum gates for quantum computing and quantum networking. And not only that, Rydberg atoms are very sensitive to external fields. So I find a very important application of Rydberg atoms in quantum sensor, or sensing of very small electric or magnetic fields. For example, sensing of very small magnetic fields are very important. For example, in bioimaging, and looking at very small magnetic field signals from the brain, or you can for finding minerals under the earth. So you need a sensor which is extremely sensitive to very, very small fields, electric or magnetic fields. So I see this application in such situations where we can use this Rydberg atomic system for applications like bioimaging, or for finding minerals under the earth, and many such applications where we need to know very precisely the magnitude of electric or magnetic field, or for example AC electric field, like the RF or the microwave, or in the terahertz region. So for example, if you want to use any other probe, it's depending on how accurately you are calibrating. But atoms are the same everywhere in the universe. So atomic systems are the best sensor, quantum sensor for sensing very small electromagnetic fields. So I find very important applications of this to the society.
That sounds really, really interesting. You mentioned how the government is very supportive of all the research being conducted in the RRI. But do you face any limitations or challenges with respect to your particular research with the country and its resources?
So the challenges would be are there that being geographically separated, you don't get to interact with many pioneers or really the leading experts in the field. So this isolation is, I think, one of the challenges we face. During my postdoc in Europe, which was not the case, we were like always interacting with the leading experts in the field, and which also I would say it benefited a lot to discuss with people who are working at the forefront. So then you also get to be knowing the latest of the technology or the advancement in science well in advance, even before the papers are published, because you're actually discussing with what is going on at present. So I think this isolation, geographical isolation, is one of the challenges, and which we should overcome by having more discussion with the international community, scientific community.
The field of physics in itself is highly complex. So what advice would you like to share for the aspiring researchers in physics?
So I would suggest that, instead of treating physics as something you have to study, why don't you, try to understand physics all around you, and then, try to find fun in physics. So unless you love a subject, I feel, it's my personal opinion, you cannot do great unless you really love the subject. And if you read it just for compulsion, it's very difficult to pursue it in the long run. So I would suggest that you find fun, you find enjoyment in doing physics, and then I'm sure you'll love it, and you would love to pursue it further. And then if you love a subject.
Here we are, signing off. Stay tuned with us to catch up on the latest science updates and learn about STEM experts.
And I'm sure you'll do great in that.